Michael, a great polished performance on Saturday. Maybe not the way we wanted to start in terms of we didn't flatten Cardiff, but we certainly got the job done and didn't concede any goals.
Yeah, I think I watched the game back, obviously, and went through the game today with the players, and there was a lot for us to be positive about, but obviously you look for areas to improve in as well, so certainly those are things we've gone over, but I think, in this league, the important thing is to win, and obviously it's difficult to just come out and steamroll teams, particularly a team that came in good form. Obviously, I think with a chance of finishing in the playoff position. So from that aspect, it was good. I thought, having watched the game back, we had a lot of control in the game. Had good opportunities as well. As I said, the areas we'd like to still improve in, and but it was good to get the win, obviously, given to address the the previous two results. So good response from the players.
Lucas and Allen looked far more comfortable in the midfield role with Jordan Thompson working, and you said on Saturday that Jordan Thompson had moved the ball with pace, and the midfield three looked much better, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a dilemma, because obviously it frees them up a little bit when you play in a midfield with a 1 and a 2. The two players in the 2-8s, so to speak, have a little bit more freedom, and but then we've got an awful lot of Nick Powell as well, so that gives us a dilemma on when where to play Nick in the team as well at this minute in time. Nice options for us to have, and but yeah, I think certainly having that player, obviously linking between the two centre backs and the two midfield players helped us. It protected us a little bit. We look back at the previous games, particularly away from home, we think we've been a little bit light in that situation. Obviously quite positive when we've gone away at home with intention to try and win games, and ultimately maybe haven't managed to do that. So we're pleased with Jordan, what he brought to the team. Obviously I know what he's capable of. I think that he's a young player still, and he needs to learn a little bit more how we are out of possession, I think, a little bit, but on the ball he's got real quality, and he showed that. And I think, as I say, he's made a good impression on the players since he came in training, and he's trained extremely well since he came in, and it's kind of a good, I think, lesson to any of the young players that he's trained his way into the team as much as anything else. And I think, as I say, the midfield three looked very good on Saturday.
A lot of people would have expected you to make changes on Saturday in view of the previous result at Queen's Park Rangers, and you said you wanted to have trust in the players, and you like consistency. You've talked about the resilience of the team. How do you work with the squad now to keep that resilience going?
I think we worked through the game today, showed a lot of aspects of the team in terms of good defending. I think as well on Saturday we had to deal with particularly the long throw, where you're playing against a team that have had a lot of joy from set pieces, so they come into the game with a lot of belief that that's a way for them to win the game, and I thought we defended our set pieces extremely well, which hasn't always been the case this season. So yeah, look, resilience comes from consistency in terms of results and obviously team selection, and I think you can react to results and make decisions which are a little bit more emotional, and I think that the key for me is to try and be analytical in terms of the team, what tactics we use in the team, and who are the best personnel for that as well. Equally, you want players all in good form, of course you do, and as I say, we lost poor goals in the previous week, but there was aspects of our performance that were good in that game as well, so it was about getting the defending side of the game right, which we did. And as I say, we continue to look, a threat going forward.
How are we injury-wise after the weekend?
No real advancements. Ryan's obviously stepped up his training, trained today. We have no one to add to the list. Stephen Ward's still with the medical team at this minute in time. Liam Lindsay returned to training today, so we'll just see how he is in relation to Wednesday night. So, but no one else missing rather.
And on to Blackburn. They've obviously had a very good run. They're looking to get into at least the playoffs. It's going to be, I say it every match, it's going to be a very difficult game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. They're in good form. They had a really good run earlier in the season, and then had a little bit of a blip, and they've corrected that. They've obviously lost Dak, who was a big player for them, but they've compensated for that as well, which is, Adam Armstrong's been excellent for them. They have a number of options in terms of how they play in the forward area. They have good consistency in their team and took across the back four and the midfield too as well. So we know what to expect. It will be a tough game, but we have to go there with the intention, again with that resilience, make sure that we are difficult to beat, because on the night we know that we will be able to cause them problems as well.
And another 3 games in 8 days. The likes of James Chester, who's not been getting a great deal of match play, it will be great for somebody like him to get up to speed with the game.
Yeah, I think it is, and to get into the flow of, I suppose, the championship, which is, I'm still adapting to that myself in terms of preparing the team. The games come around so quickly. But for James, obviously, he played 3 games in a week, and having not played for basically 12 months, and so I think certainly that week will have benefited from him, or he will have benefited from that rather. And again, this is an issue you have to recover, be ready to play again. I think in terms of the squad, we have good athleticism in the squad. I think that's been shown as well, and it is tested in these weeks, particularly when you've back-to-back away games as well.
You've just hit on the point that games come thick and fast. You've been an international manager largely. How have you adapted to the cut and thrust of a game every 6, 7, 8 days? Yeah,
listen, it's been a challenge, there's no doubt about that. And I'd like to think that international level you have to deal with it in a short space of time, but equally you've got a lot more lead-in time in terms of preparation, but ultimately always doesn't go according to plan because of availability. But the turnaround time I don't have an issue with. I suppose for me is how much you go into a review of a game and look at the game before you move on to the next one, and I suppose that's been a little bit of a challenge. I'm quite detailed in that side of things, but equally I have to be wary that the players mentally have to move on to the next game as well, whether the result's positive or negative. I think when you're in a run where you're consistently winning games, it's much easier to deal with that because your review of games is probably a lot less. You obviously look at things maybe in a little bit more in depth when you're losing games. So yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. What time you spend, for me, reviewing the game before you move quickly on to the next game, because as you say, the players have to recover. You have to think about changing the team if you're going to do that. You have to prepare the team tactically. You've got set pieces. There's a lot of work to be done in a very short space of time. But equally, the staff have been brilliant. The coaching team that we have behind all have different roles. We all work together and making sure that the team that goes on the pitch midweek will be as well prepared as the team that goes on the pitch on a Saturday.
And the last one from me, you've talked about confidence and players adapting. Have you noticed that since we've started getting better results and you've got the team organised in the way that you want to play, players are more willing to play in positions that are perhaps alien to them or positions they don't like? I'm thinking of Nick Powell being out on the left and how well he's adapted to playing since you've come along. Yeah,
I think so. I think the players are all mindful of the situation we're in and obviously want to make sure that address that situation. And I said to them when we came in, that ultimately they have a responsibility because the club were in a difficult position. But I haven't, I think the likes of Nick's a good example. He's a very talented player. It took us a little while to get him into the team, and because we had to adjust the shape of the team. But we asked him to do a specific job for us, obviously, in the game on Saturday, and I thought he did it extremely well. And that's what we need. We need that level. People at times possibly being asked to be slightly out of position or not in their favoured position. We had it equally with Tyrese when he came into the team being asked to play in a wide area. So all those things are necessary. We need a focused group of players all prepared to go that extra little bit to continue with obviously our progression up the league.
Good luck.
Thank you.
It's certainly the case that since you've arrived, the club has turned a corner, and it was particularly noticeable after the Cardiff game that the Cardiff supporters and the media all sort of said, "Oh well, Cardiff didn't turn up. They've been playing well, but it was a blip or something like this." But in fact, I would argue it was the fact that your team actually stood, after a few minutes, stopped them playing and said, "No, this is the way we're going to be playing." And it's something that we haven't seen at Stoke for a long, long time. Do you see it like that?
Well, I just focus on. I only focus on the period that I've been here, obviously, and what you have to do is, particularly at home, is you have to. when you look at it from a really basic point of view, your home games are when most of your fans see you. Let's be honest. So that's important that you build that type of home form that we've had. I think someone touched on it. I think possibly we're second in terms of the 10 games that we've had in the league. So that's a positive, because I think playing at home was difficult for the players, particularly early in the season. But yeah, we want to be a team that will impose our style of play and our game onto the opposition, as opposed to, you know, relying on the opposition not being you know, up to speed in terms. I didn't think that was the way they possibly felt they didn't play well, but that's natural. But I felt that we denied them a lot. You know, as I say, we defended anything from set pieces. You look back in terms of the game and chances, like clearly we had the number of clear-cut chances. And what we do look, I think, now is when we are in front at home, and we are at times in games where we have to defend for periods, we're also a great threat in the counter-attack. That was proven, I think, in the game again on Saturday. So yeah, look, it's very much work in progress. We want to address and make sure our away form improves as well. But it's good that, you know, at home, that, you know, we're building a reputation for a team that's certainly going to be difficult to beat.